Hello, Merry Christmas to those who celebrate, and welcome to episode 256 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. Of course, I am your host, Rick Doherty. For the first time in our show's history, we are airing a new episode on Christmas Day in the spirit of giving, and since their biggest fundraiser is just wrapping up for the year, I thought I would go back and share an interview I did over a year and a half ago about the charity Give Kids the World. A mutual friend of ours introduced me to Susan from Indiana. Her family was able to have a theme park vacation in the Orlando area, and it was only because of the efforts of Give Kids the World. Before we get started, we're entering the last week of Vlogmas. I'm posting a video, vlog, or podcast every day this month. As a holiday present to me, make sure you're subscribed to the Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty YouTube channel. Also, take the time to watch videos, click the like button, and drop positive comments on what you do like. We just passed our 250th episode milestone, and we're about to hit our 5-year anniversary. We want to continue to grow into that benchmark and into the new year. Like, comment, and subscribe. It is really, really important so we can continue to share stories like this one. Let's get to that conversation from March of 2024. This is Susan from Indiana. Thanks for joining us, Susan.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice to be here.
So you had the chance to take one of your children to Give Kids the World, which is a fantastic organization in Central Florida. It facilitates trips to Walt Disney World, Universal Orlando Resort, plenty of other locations in the area. But they definitely focus on kids who have either some sort of disability. It has a lot to do with the Make-A-Wish Foundation. So not only are they providing this amazing service, but they have to do it and think about the individual needs of every family.
This was the most, I'll get emotional. This is the most amazing trip ever. My son has several diagnoses, but the main one, he has severe epilepsy. His seizures are uncontrollable. We're at the best we can right now with 2 seizures a day. But it is a life-threatening condition. He has coded at home a couple of times during a seizure. So in order to qualify for a trip with Give Kids the World, they have to have a life-threatening illness, which we do have. But it was just such a smooth trip from Make-A-Wish, making all the accommodations easily accessible for us. I have a family, I have 6 kids. So we have a family of 6, and then I was able to take myself and a helper with me. It cost me nothing out of pocket for this trip. They rented a van big enough to transport everyone, because my van only seats 8 and there was 9 of us. They paid for gas, they paid for a hotel down, a hotel back. All of our food was provided, tickets to all the parks was provided. But I want to focus on Give Kids the World. That is the most amazing place I have ever experienced in my life. From the minute you walk in, you're treated like royalty. When I take all my kids somewhere, a lot of times we get stared at and not accepted. At Give Kids the World, we were totally accepted. No one stared at us. It was just an amazing trip. And, we were given tickets we had 3 days at the Disney parks. With Park Hopper, we didn't wait in line for anything. When we wore a placard, when the Disney attendants notice the placard, they take you to the front of the line. What was actually amazing is Joseph, who doesn't react to a whole lot of things, he loved roller coasters. Funny story, my grown daughter, isn't a roller coaster fan, but she rode with Joseph, and every time they got ready to get off and he was smiling, the attendant would say, "Do you want to go again?" So she rode a roller coaster 3 times nonstop without getting off the ride.
Well, I think one of the big things about Give Kids the World that is underrated is you mentioned going with 6 kids. And
Yes.
when you have a kid that has a special need and needs special attention, sometimes the other kids can sort of feel like all the attention is going to that one kid, and maybe they don't feel as special, or they feel like they don't get to rest on vacation because they're looking out for their sibling. Any number of different things. But one of the best things about Give Kids the World is they take those kids who aren't the Make-A-Wish kid and they make
Yes.
them feel like $1,000,000. And they say, not only does your brother or sister not have to worry about all of these things while you're on vacation, not only do your parents or your guardians not have to worry about those things for that one individual kid, but you get to relax. You get to enjoy the vacation too. As you
Yes.
mentioned, people looking at your entire family different, but when you're at Give Kids the World, nobody looks at you different.
I want to talk a little bit about that with you, because in the village, no one asked who the Wish Kid was. Not one person asked who the Wish Kid was. All the kids were treated like they were very special. Um, my kids, when we went to the parks, they're like, "Can we just go back to the village?" So the village is amazing, and the volunteers. I had a chance to speak with many volunteers, and some of these volunteers are retired, and they come to Florida for the summer, and they work. They work at Give Kids the World as volunteers. One couple worked 40 hours a week, and this is their time. And a lot of the volunteers take a vacation in order to volunteer at Give Kids the World. To think about all the volunteer hours, and you can look on their website. It's amazing how many hours, and all it makes you just in awe of everything, that all these people are so kind and caring and giving to volunteer their time. A dinner, when we go to eat dinner, they carry your tray for you through the line. They don't want you to do anything. If someone wants seconds of something, they'll go. They don't want you to do it. They get it for you. The first night there, I went to start cleaning up after my kids, because I have 6 kids. We leave a little bit of a mess. And like, no, you're on vacation too. You're not allowed to clean. So they treat the whole family like royalty. And I want to also touch on the ice cream store. They get free ice cream from 7 a.m. till I think it's 9:30 at night. And you'll be walking out of your villa, and the volunteers will say, "Hey, have you guys had your ice cream yet?" I'm like, "We haven't had breakfast yet." And they're like, "Well, ice cream in the village for breakfast."
That is the
So
big thing at Give Kids the World is the ice cream
yes,
for
ice
breakfast.
cream.
Yep.
Yes, yes. And all day long, they have milkshakes. You can do all kinds of ice cream. They have everything to put on top of the ice cream. And it's never a no, you've had enough. It's, oh, you want more? You can have more. But the ice cream shop and the cookie cart. Have you heard about the cookie cart?
No, tell me about the cookie cart.
There's a cookie cart in the evening that drives around the village with nice cookies, amazing cookies, and they'll have juice for the kids. And they have I can't think of the name of it, Olivia Spa, and the girls can go in and get their hair done. They can get tattoos. And then for the parents, they just added the new water massage bed. So you can go get a massage every day.
That's amazing, because I definitely know some people who have kids with different needs, and the amount that it affects and impacts the parents, because like you said, even if it's just picking up after your kids, or having to think about, oh, is he gonna have a seizure at this time, like I need to be prepared at all times to do these things. To take those little things off of your plate must have been, as much as it was an amazing vacation for the kids, it must have been something so special for you individually, because you didn't have to worry about those things for a couple days. Like, you just
Exactly.
got to enjoy yourself and not focus on that stuff.
Yeah, it was so relaxing. I mean, I got to focus on and have fun with all of my kids. I don't know if anyone told you, Give Kids a World also has several rides for the kids to ride that are wheelchair accessible rides. There's a train that goes through the village. There's fishing. There's a fishing thing. The kids can go fishing. There was horseback riding. They had a miniature golf set. They had video games. anything they could have for the kids to just relax and enjoy being a kid, you know, and not just the kids to relax. As a family, we got to relax and have fun together and put all the medical things behind us. So we got to be a normal family.
That's amazing. And I just can't imagine what that feeling was like for you to see your son being able to enjoy something in an atmosphere that does feel kind of normal. Like you're never going
Yes,
to get away from the health issues themselves, but to know that he could feel like he didn't have to wait in line and you had to worry about, where's the first date? Like they were taking care of all of that stuff and he was just able to enjoy the rides. He found out he loves roller coasters.
yes,
Like,
yes,
how amazing was that? Because probably he's never going to find that out if it's not for a service like this one.
exactly. And we everyone wants to touch upon Disney, but I also want to touch upon Universal Studios. Even though Disney treated us, I have no complaints on how we were treated at Disney. But I will say Universal went above and beyond Disney.
Awesome. Awesome. What are some things that you got to experience at Universal?
So at Universal, they would see us, and we wore the placard, and she come up, she's, hey, have you met the superheroes yet? And I'm like, no, but we're gonna get in line. And she goes, you just come with me. And we had a personal guide took us to every superhero. And then she says, oh, wait a minute, we're gonna do one better than this. So they got all the superheroes together and told me where to meet. And we went behind the scenes and they brought all the superheroes to us.
That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear that Universal really does step up in those situations. I know that we had heard a story that due to the pandemic and having such a backlog from the parks being closed, that Disney was even trying to push some Make-A-Wish families towards Universal because they didn't have the ability to accommodate everyone. I'm glad that you got to experience both sets of parks, but I'm also glad that in that situation, Universal kind of took it upon themselves to make sure they were giving everybody that experience that is really a step above what everybody else receives.
Yeah. And I also want to touch upon the fact that the wagons, the wonderful wagons that a lot of special needs parents use, they're normally not allowed in the parks. They don't allow most people the wagons, but we went up to guest services and showed them all the things, all the medical equipment that we had, and they let us take our wagon in the park to make things so much easier for all of us. So all the parks just they go above and beyond to treat us. We were treated like royalty.
That's awesome. And that's a place where I want to kind of say to people, you might know that rule. You might not have been able to take in your wagon, and then you're in the park and you see somebody with a wagon. And I always like to sort of remind people, you don't know that person's experience. So just
Right.
because you weren't able to take in your wagon doesn't mean that this other family doesn't 100% need it. So I like to just sort of remind everybody not to judge because everybody comes into these things
Right.
in different situations.
Let me add something to that too. I like that you're doing that, but we did also have a red sticker on our wagon letting people know it was specially approved. But I also want to let people know when they think we're getting special treatment because we're allowed to take our wagon in, you don't want to be us. You don't want your child to have these issues. So even though we're getting treated special, we're getting treated like royalty, and there are some people that were jealous about that. You don't want to be us. You don't want to have to get that special treatment for the reasons we did.
No, and I 100% get that. My wife is chronically ill. I have some friends who have different illnesses, and every accommodation that they get that people think sounds like it's special is 100% needed and is only there to make sure they can enjoy the parks at all and not
Yeah.
actually giving them any added benefit. trust me, if you had the stamina of my wife at the parks, you'd hardly get to enjoy any of them because you'd only get to be there for a couple hours and then you would have to go back to the hotel and rest.
Right.
So things like, disability access passes, letting somebody have, one extra wagon to make things easier. Like you said, they're not actually making your trip any better than anybody else's. They're helping you get to that same level as the other families. I was able to visit Give Kids the World when they did. This was still kind of in the height of the pandemic where they wouldn't have every building filled. They would have
Mhm.
one house and then an empty house and then another one. So they were able to do their holiday light show
Isn't that
actually
beautiful?
at Give Kids the World Village. Now they do it at a water park, I believe. But
Mhm.
such an amazing event to get to see all of the wonderful lights, to really get into the holiday spirit. I think I went in early November, so it was like the first thing I did that started to get me excited for the holidays that year. And by going to that event, by paying the ticket price, it's a little bit expensive to get to see the lights, but what you're
Mhm.
actually doing is enabling Give Kids the World to provide these types of experiences.
Yeah.
So you're not buying a ticket to see Christmas lights. You are donating money to Give Kids the World to help these families, and you're getting to see Christmas lights as a reward. So I think you'll attest to this. Anybody who finds any chance to volunteer, to donate money, to be a part of something like the holiday lights, or to be a part of, I think they do a 5K race. If you can just help out a little bit, you can make a huge difference.
It's such a huge difference. The smiles that I seen not only on my children's faces, but the other kids' faces is so worth it. I will be going back as an alumni family. We can go back twice a year. We can never stay in the village again, but we can spend the day, the whole entire day, and enjoy that. But I will be going back to volunteer.
That's
And
amazing. Thank you.
anybody who wants to volunteer, you just have to pass your background checks and you will leave there with a whole new perspective on life. It's just an amazing thing to volunteer there. And did you know that every night is a party at the village?
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
talk about that a little bit so everybody can hear about this.
Yeah, every night's a party. As you know, it's Mayor Clayton and his wife, Miss Mary. So we have his birthday party one night. We did Halloween one night. They had different stations. We went trick or treating. There was Thanksgiving one night where they had nice food in the cafeteria. What else do we have? Oh, there's the idol. So the kids compete and show their talent. And they have Christmas in the village. You come back and the village is all lit up. Santa comes and the kids get to go in a room and pick. And it was a nice toy. So every night is a party. There's music. There's singing. We they gave us toilet paper and we wrapped someone as a mummy. So it's just a lot of fun at the village. So if your child can't make it at the parks all day, they can come home and rest and know that you're still having a good time at the village. The village makes sure there's activities for you to do as well. And I have to also compliment Give Kids a World Village because I said there was 9 of us went. We got a whole house because the villas are in half and they opened the door up so we had both sides of the house. And there's every night when you come home from whatever you were doing, there's gifts on the table for the kids. Not just the wish kid, all the kids.
Yeah, I definitely think that's one of the best parts because you know that these things impact everybody in the family. And to just have everybody be able to really relax when they're on vacation. And so many of us, like people who hit the parks, like I hit the parks, we can't we can't get our minds around relaxing at the parks. But
Mhm.
really, for your family, it was a chance to not be thinking about everything. And I do love how they have the holidays every day of the week because
Mhm.
they'll celebrate the kids' birthdays one day every week because you
Yes.
don't always get to go around your birthday. So it's special to get to celebrate that a second time and to celebrate all the holidays. Because, yes, it is true. A lot of these kids can only spend a couple hours at the parks. Maybe they can go for 2, 3 hours, but they have to come back there. And other families will be able to spend the whole day, but they give you that flexibility to enjoy the vacation the way that you want to enjoy it. And like you said, you can go to Universal, there's Walt Disney World. So it even has a nice variety as far as what is accessible in that centrally located.
And do you know there's other parks that they will offer to you as well? Peppa Pig, you can ask for tickets there. You can ask for forgot SeaWorld. SeaWorld's in there too. You can do Legoland, and then you can half price at what's the name of the night show? The
Medieval
dinner
times.
show. Medieval Times. Yeah, you can get half price. The Wish Kids free. The rest of the family is half price. So just all the extra things they offer you to make sure that you have a good time. And I didn't talk about, it's very emotional, the House of Stars. So every Wish Kid gets a star and you write their name on it. It's Castle of the Stars. And that castle, they tell you where your star is. There's hundreds of thousands of stars on the ceiling and lining the walls that represents a Wish Kid that has been to the village. And you start getting really emotional going into that castle because you know that some of those kids didn't survive.
Right.
But they still had a wonderful time before their life on Earth was over.
Well, I think that is such an important part of this. And we like to focus on, we all like to focus on the positives, right? We like to think about the kids when they're there. And like you said, some of the kids didn't survive. But you know what did survive? The memories of that
Yes.
trip for the families. Like, that was something that they will keep with them as a memory where, yes, where they all got to let their hair down and just enjoy each
Yes.
other as a family. And so it is sad, but it's incredibly inspirational at the same time
Very much so.
because that kid got to experience something. I mean, like, let's be honest, a lot of kids, even if they aren't sick or Make-A-Wish kids, like, they'll never get to experience Walt Disney World or Universal, but these kids got to experience that. They got to experience it with their loved ones and have everybody in this special moment. So I would probably just bawl my eyes out if I entered that room. So I can see why it was emotional.
So, and anytime you go visit as an alumni family, you can go in the room and you tell them where your star is. They will pull your star down so you can see your child's star. So it's just amazing. And the other thing we didn't touch upon that my kids did every single night, the pizza delivery.
Oh,
have you heard about that?
No.
So every night you can order a pizza and drinks and have it delivered to your villa. So every night around 8:30, because we didn't do the parks at night because it was too much. But every night we have pizzas delivered to our villa with drinks. And we come home. I was like, don't think when you come home, we're ordering pizza every night. That was a highlight too.
And as somebody who, I didn't have any special issues like this when I was a kid, but I can just think of having a pizza party with my parents. And, we order pizza and they bring sodas and you just sit around and you talk. And being able to have that experience is just another great memory.
And the kids thought it was fun that the pizza was delivered on a golf cart.
Oh, that is fun. Now, I don't know if this applies to your child, but one of the things that I think is the most important about Give Kids the World is many of these children have extreme dietary restrictions. It's
Yes, and
one
if
of
you
the
have diet,
reasons,
yeah,
yeah. It's one of the
you have
reasons that you
dietary
have a
restrictions.
house, right?
Yes, yes. And that if let's say your child will only eat chicken nuggets, you just let the village know that there will be plenty of chicken nuggets there. And when we touch upon their food, they've got different stations. There's even a salad bar. So there's anything your kid would like is there. If it's not, the village will see to it that it will be there. You just let them know ahead of time. The dietary restrictions, we don't even have to think about those on vacation because the village takes care of that for us.
Right. And I do believe you also have like a full kitchen if there are
Oh, a
things that
full
you have to
kitchen.
make, right?
Yes, we have a full kitchen. And let me touch upon the kids' room has the whirlpool bathtub.
Oh, that's really nice.
Yeah, not the parents' room. The parents get their own room with a separate bathroom, but the kids have a little suite. It's got their beds in it and a shower that you can push the wheelchair in as well. And then there's a whirlpool bathtub, so that the villas are accommodated to kids with special needs. Wheelchairs will ride in and out of the villas. It's just everything is geared towards what we could possibly need. If you needed a stroller, they made sure that they ordered strollers and they were at your villa when you arrived. Um, if you needed IV poles so that you don't have to transport those, they'll make sure that IV pole is there for you. Um, Oxygen concentrators, because Benjamin and Joe both have oxygen. They made sure the concentrators that we use, we took a picture of the kind we used, and Make-A-Wish made sure that all your equipment that you needed was there. They wanted to make your trip there as comfortable as possible. So you didn't have to lift all the heavy medical equipment. Everything was there for us. So, and the village makes sure that things are delivered where they need to be. If you have any issues at all, they're a phone call away. And then I also want to touch upon at home, our 911 people know what we have in our home, and this is what could possibly go wrong. The village has their own little system. If I need to call 911, I call 911 right away. But they also ask that I notify someone in the village that the ambulance is coming in. They have people stationed because it's a big area. We're talking acres and lots of houses. And it's probably not on their GPS, but there are people stationed at the village in different locations to direct the rescue personnel to you.
And these are things that most families will never have to think of, these
Yes.
little tiny details. Like your family has to notify your local 911 about what you have in the house in case your son deals with one of these seizures, so they know what they're dealing with when they get there. And most people don't even think about going to a vacation and having to make sure that the people there are aware what might happen, and that these things that you don't have to think about them because they have already thought about, if we need an ambulance, we can get them to this person and then to this person and then to this person, and they'll be right to the house where they need to be. All of those things must have just made you feel so comfortable.
Yes, yes. And the fact that we were told we have a little orientation when you first start that gives you your tickets, tells you about the village, but they have taken the time to speak with the emergency personnel, and they know what types of kids we have in the village, and this is what's going on. So everything is fixed for you. Every possible thing you could worry about, Give Kids the World is taking care of that for you.
And one other thing I wanted to know, because as a local, I know how difficult it can be to get to Magic Kingdom in Walt Disney World, because you have to park like a mile and a half away from the actual park and then take a monorail or take the ferry boat. Do they have special accommodations to get you a little bit closer, or at least do
Yes,
they
they
make it a
do.
little easier? See, I don't think anybody realizes how much of a stress that saves your day if you don't have to deal with the TTC at Magic Kingdom.
We were given medical preferred parking. Um, all they tell you when you go into the park, we don't pay for parking either. We put a thing on our dash, parking's paid for us, but we hold our Make-A-Wish thing up. and they take us to medical preferred parking. We were almost on the front line at every park we went to. And that's a big relief for us as well, because we're not talking wrangling 6 normal kids and then walking behind us. I had 2 wheelchairs and all the medical equipment. I have to have a ventilator with me. I have to keep the suction machine. I have to have emergency bags, because if he has a seizure that he doesn't come out of, I got emergency protocol I have to follow. So to know that I didn't have to walk 2 miles with all this equipment just to get into the doors, was just amazing. We were, like I said, we were treated like royalty.
At the TTC, security is over a mile away from the park, and it's the 4th biggest parking lot in the world. So if you can make that easier on people, that is such an added drain. Even if your kid gets to the point where the kid's like, I'm done, like I can't go anymore, you can just get out of the park, get to that preferred parking and leave. Whereas if you're in a normal parking spot, you have another 45 minutes until you're in your car. So
Exactly.
that is an amazing benefit that they provide for you.
Going through security is rough on its own when you have all the emergency bags. And one of my kiddos has a pacemaker, so we had to make sure he's away from the magnetic field. Everyone was so kind to us about that and made sure that the detectors did not go anywhere close to him. Some of our medical equipment does set off the metal detectors. But they were so kind to us, like, it's okay, we got this, just very kind to us, and didn't act like it was a bother that they had to make sure I wasn't taking anything in that I should not be taking in. But just the kindness from the minute we pulled, the people in the parking booths were so nice and like, oh, go, 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 follow this blue line, and this person will tell you where to go. I had nothing negative to say about how we were treated at the parks.
So if you want more information on Give Kids the World Village, or more importantly, if you want to donate, you can go to www.gktw.org. And I think you will say, if you have the ability to donate to this organization, it is definitely worth your charitable money. We all are short right now. Groceries are expensive. We're all dealing with a lot of stuff. But if you do happen to have a little bit of extra money and you want to really stretch it for how much good you can do with it, this is definitely a good place to do that.
Absolutely. And I also want to say that even if it's just $5, you might not think that's a lot, but $5, multiply that times 10 people, then multiply that times 20, that $5 adds up and it goes to a good cause.
That $5 bought the pizza ingredients, right?
Exactly.
Thank you so much for joining us. I am so happy to hear about these things, because I do believe on a daily basis we are just bombarded by negatives all of the time. And when people can hear about a positive like this, I think it really does serve to show that there are good things going on with humanity. So thank you so much for being here.
Oh, no, thank you for listening, and thank you for what you're doing. It means the world to us to have people talk about Give Kids the World and what an amazing, amazing place that is.
I know that not everyone can listen to every episode, and even if you did hear that conversation when it initially aired last year, I thought it was important to share it again in the season of Giving and Hope. This has been episode 256 of Tall Guy Talks Travel with Rick Doherty. We will be back next Thursday, New Year's Day, with a brand new episode for a brand new year. Until then, have a great week and stay safe this holiday season.